So I saw another YouTuber do this, so I'm going to see how this works. There we go. What do you guys think? Took the King Ranch grill off, put the Platinum grill on. I like the look of it. So hey everyone. So I get a lot of questions from folks who are interested in not only buying RVs, but also trying to determine what the best truck might be to tow the RV that they're looking at. And many times those questions are related to, is this truck going to be the right truck for me? Or what would be the best truck for this specific towing application? Often the questions are focused around pre-owned trucks that somebody might be looking for. So they may not be looking for a 2017 truck, but maybe a 2011, 2012, 2013 in that range. And they'd like to know what the best truck might be for their specific application or what they plan on towing. So what I'm going to start doing is reading these questions off to you guys and trying to give the very best answer that I think I can give, because I think that would be most helpful not only to the folks who are sending the questions, but also to people who may have similar questions. So a question that I received this morning, and this is a good example. This person or this couple is looking for a truck and an RV. And they currently have a half-ton F-150. They are looking at fifth wheels in the 30 to 35 foot range. Generally means the fifth wheel is going to be between about 12,000 all the way up to about 16,000 pounds, depending on what type it is. In this case, it's going to be either a Grand Design Reflection or Solitude, and they plan on being on the road between 6 to 8 weeks at a time. So the thing you want to keep in mind at that point is what truck is going to be best for that specific size. So they've been looking at F-350s, which they think will be best for them. They don't want to opt for a brand new truck, but they're trying to find what that sweet spot is to get the best savings while at the same time getting a reliable, affordable F-350. So the response that I gave them in the message was, you know, you should really open up your search. If you are completely brand loyal and you only want a Ford, then I would even say open up to a 250 or a 350 at that point, because what I don't want people to do is think they have to get a 350 when a 250 would probably be fine for their application, especially given the fact that they may be able to come across a 250 that has lower miles, a better deal, better maintenance records, things like that, so long as it still meets the fifth wheel towing capacity needs that they're looking for. And in most cases, either a 2500 series from Ram or GM or an F-250 is going to be in the 15,000 pound range for fifth wheel towing, which is, for what they're looking for, more than enough. Now, in my response to them, I told them really open up and broaden your search. Look at Ram trucks, look at GM trucks, and look at Ford trucks. I would stick to the 2012 plus year range, so between 2012 and say 2014, 2015, if you're trying to find a pre-owned truck for a good price with relatively low miles. As far as the sweet spot for mileage, I would say that you probably want to find a truck anywhere between 24,000 miles all the way up to about 75,000 miles. But the key is, if you're going to try to find one that has slightly higher miles, or if that's what you do find, make sure that you have some maintenance records on that, specifically related to when the fuel filters were changed, when the oil and other fluids were changed, or even a record of the fuel stations that they may go to, simply because that oftentimes can tell you how well somebody took care of a truck. Did they go to the cheapest possible place that sold fuel, or did they go to a more reputable, larger capacity place? Now, another thing to keep in mind is look at the interior of the vehicle. Let's say you find a truck with 75,000 miles on it and you have maintenance records, you have everything that shows that the truck was pretty well taken care of, but then you look at the seats, you look at the interior buttons and controls. One thing that a lot of people never really keep in mind is how much wear and tear went into that vehicle. So one way to kind of determine the mileage on a truck, whether it was city or highway, and this doesn't work 100% of the time, but is the wear and tear on the AC controls. So if you see the black plastic rubbing off, or the coating rubbing off, and you can see the white or the clear background to the button itself, that is generally an indication that the vehicle has a lot of city miles on it, mainly because people get into their vehicle, they press the button immediately, and that button gets a lot more use. Versus folks who are on the highway a lot, you don't see as much wear and tear generally on the control knobs and buttons in the dash.
What can I get for you?
I would like the honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich meal.
Is it going to be the meal?
Yes, please.
What's that drink?
I'll do a Coke,
Okay.
and that'll be it.
Okay, for your night, you're very pretty with them.
Thank you. Another thing you want to look out for in a used vehicle is the bolstering on the driver's side seat, right where you enter. If you see a lot of wear and tear there, if you see a lot of tearing in the fabric or the leather at that particular point, that generally means the driver of the vehicle gets in and out of that vehicle a lot. And when you see that, it's more indicative of a truck that was driven around the city versus the highway. Again, this isn't always the case. There's a lot of folks that put a lot of highway miles on their vehicle, and you don't see that type of wear and tear. So my response to that message is try to locate a truck between 2012, 2014, 15, between 25 and say 75,000 miles. This particular person definitely prefers a short bed truck, probably because of where they live. It might be easier to navigate roads with a short bed truck, and in many cases it's easier to park, and there's a lot of reasons why people may want a short bed truck versus a long wheelbase truck. Now, that being said, I would generally recommend a long wheelbase truck if he had said that they were looking at a travel trailer instead of a fifth wheel. But with a fifth wheel, if they have a slider hitch, or if they understand the limitations, of course, of the truck cab possibly making contact with the front of the fifth wheel, and they're aware of what to do, the hitches that kind of work around that, then I think you're perfectly fine with the short wheelbase truck. If they opt for a F250, a 2500, or a 3/4 ton truck, then I might suggest that they go with a Timbren or an airbag setup to complement the truck's factory suspension. And that would only be to help level the ride out, primarily to keep the headlights from blinding people when they have the fifth wheel on the back of the truck. When it comes to a diesel pickup truck, you absolutely want to make sure that you do get as many records as possible with a pre-owned truck. When it comes to cost, I think that for a well-maintained truck between that 2012 to 2014, 2015 time range with reasonable miles, let's say 50,000 miles, you're probably going to be looking for the mid-30s or even possibly up to the low 40s as far as cost of purchase. And that should get you into at least a Lariat package if it's a Ford, a Laramie package if it's a Ram, and an LT or an LTZ package if it is a GMC or a Chevrolet truck. Anyways, guys, I hope that answers that subscriber's question. I hope that's what he was looking for. And I'm going to try to keep doing this because I get a lot of questions, and I really want to try to find a way to answer them universally so other people who may have the same questions get the answer they're looking for as well. Guys, if you like my channel, please take a moment to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.